Welcome, foolish creatures, to another episode of Hill City Paranormal. You'll hear spooky calls from our haunted hotline. Stories plucked from another dimension with tales from the beyond. Oddities galore in news from the beyond. Haunting interviews with your ghost host, Woody G. Watts. Welcome to Hill City Paranormal.
Hi guys, my name is Xavier. This is my first time calling, and I actually have a true story. This happened several years ago. I was probably about 23, 24, and a buddy of mine. We'll just use their real names. I don't think they'll mind. A buddy of mine, which goes by the nickname of Ozzy, and his wife were musicians at the time, and they were doing a tour with some pretty well-known bands, and asked me and my friend Jesse to house it for him. They had a small little three little bedroom home, and so we ended up house sitting for about a week. And the first few nights my friend Jesse stayed. After that, I started showing up and just kind of, we would just mess around, play with our guitars, make some food, fucking watch movies, invite some friends over, nothing too, out of the ordinary. And so one of the nights that I was there, we ended up falling asleep on the couch. My friend's on one couch, I'm on one couch, and it's a hot summer day, so we had the AC running all night. And all of a sudden, I don't know what time of the night it was, I wake up with this huge adrenaline rush, and this sense of anxiety in my chest. And I'm laying there, in pitch blackness, and I'm just, looking up at the ceiling or something, and I can hear some sort of plastic bag being rustled around in one of the rooms. And, it's going on for a few minutes, and then the next sound that came was what sounded like a drawer closing and some sort of jar falling off of it. All of a sudden, my friend goes, Xavier, he whispers at me. He's like, Xavier, are you listening to this? I was like, yes, man, I've been awake this whole time. I guess we were just both laying there awake listening to this. And he goes, this has been happening the last few nights. And I was like, holy crap. So he gets up, he turns on the lights, pulls out a kitchen knife from underneath the couch. And, we're yelling out, Ozzy, we're yelling out his wife's name. We're like, are you guys home? Did you guys come home in the middle of the night? We didn't hear you guys. And nothing's going on. No, we don't hear any answers from anyone. So we go ahead and pop all the bedroom doors open. Using the knife, we just kind of, decided to open them up, and we're looking through all the rooms, and, nothing has moved, nothing out of the ordinary. So we start looking through the windows. We figured maybe the neighbors had a pretty big dog that, maybe he was moving around or making sound, and we were just able to, catch the sounds. But there's no animal, there's no pet. And so we're looking around and finding nothing. And we kind of just give up for several minutes of going through all the rooms and looking around and trying to make a few phone calls to some of our friends to see if maybe there was something that we should know. And of course, no answer at the time of the morning. So we just turned off most of the lights except for the bathroom light, and we just left the door, slightly closed. We didn't fully close it all the way. And, talked about how it was a little bit weird, and we decided to call it a night again. We get back in the couch, he gets on his couch, and we knock out. The next morning, we wake up, and I get up first, and then I see my friend Jesse kind of start moving around on the couch, and I go to use the restroom, and the door's fully closed, and it's locked. And so I look over and I go, hey, Jesse. I said, hey, man, you ended up locking the door. I said, why did you lock the restroom door? And he looked at me and goes, what the hell are you talking about? And he's like, I'm literally just waking up. He goes, I haven't gotten out of the couch since the whole thing that happened a few hours ago. And I go, okay, well, I go, maybe I did close it. I don't know, whatever, So we ended up, popping the door open, whatever, and we're kind of packing up our stuff, we're getting ready to leave for the day, and kind of go about our day. And we're sitting there talking to each other. We're like, man, that was kind of recapping on what happened, the night before. And as we're in mid conversation, from the kitchen we hear what sounds like a glass cup slide across the countertop, fall to the floor, and shatter into like 1,000 pieces. And it completely caught us off guard, and both of us jumped, and we looked at each other with this like wide-eyed of fear. We looked at each other, we looked back at the kitchen, and so we run to the kitchen to, I guess, see what had happened. I guess we were still kind of trying to figure things out and a little jumpy, so we run over to the kitchen, and there's nothing anywhere nearby. There's no glass on the counter, no glass on the floor, there's no shattered glass anywhere. And we're looking around, and I look at him, I go, did you heard that, right? He goes, yeah. He goes, it sounded like something, like just shattered on the floor. He's like, is there glass? Is there something ceramic? Like, what is going on in here? So after the whole sound of the glass shattering on the floor, and me and my friend Jesse investigate, we find nothing. We just looked at each other, and we're like, okay, screw this, we're leaving. So we ended up leaving, and we didn't go back there for the last 2 days. After that, my buddy Ozzy and his wife ended up coming home, and they doing their thing, and he's like, hey guys, he's like, you guys should come over for the weekend. He's like, let me know how everything went, and it'd be kind of cool to see you guys. We'll just do a little hangout. So weekend comes, we ended up going over to his place, and he's there with his wife and his kids, and everything's, we're having a little dinner thing, everything's cool. And so me and Jesse look at each other, and we're like, hey Ozzy, we need to talk to you about something, man. And he's like, what's up, guys? And so we're like, so over the week this is what happened, and we're telling him this. We recap the whole story. We're like, this is what's going on. Like, it freaked us out. Like, is there something going on in here, or maybe do you guys have a pet, or maybe we're just kind of tripping out? And my friend Oz is leaning up against the counter, and he's looking at us, and he's not even phased, and he just says, he nods his head up, like as a yes, like up and down, and he goes, you guys noticed it too, huh? And we looked at each other, me and Jesse look at each other, and I go, what do you mean we noticed it too? And my friend Oz goes, man, he goes, what you guys experienced is nothing. And then he proceeds to tell us a story. And I think this is where it really got to me. So he tells me that him and his wife, Veronica, were in bed during a weeknight, late at night, I guess, and they had their baby. They had a little toddler, and they had the baby sleeping in between them. And they had the baby's crib and the baby's toys in the same, their master bedroom with them. And one of the kids' toys is going off. It's going off like 11, 12 at night or something, and it's like singing, it's saying phrases, it's, counting, up to whatever number, it's, giving the whole ABCs, and it's lighting up. And, my friend Ozzy's telling me that, this toy is going off, and they're just, both of them are laying in bed, and his wife Veronica finally kicks him and says, Ozzy, get up and turn that thing off. And he says, no, I'm too scared to get up right now and turn that thing off. He's like, maybe it'll just shut itself off. So I guess his wife finally gets fed up, gets out of bed, turns on the lights, and walks up to the toy. Right before she said that right before she touched the toy, the whole toy spelled out and said goodbye and shut itself off. She said that they got so scared and freaked out that they just packed whatever they could for that night and just ended up going to their parents' place to, spend the night. A few weeks after that, they ended up just moving out. The apartment was really heavily, I don't know, possessed or something. But they ended up moving out. I think they even had like a priest at one point come in and bless the house, but it seemed like things got worse, and then their marriage started kind of falling apart. It wasn't doing too good. But that freaked me out, and I never wanted to go to that apartment ever again. Um, and so I that was the end of that, and I'm so glad they ended up moving out. And that was my story. Hope you guys enjoy it. Have fun. Take care, guys.
Be sure to check out our website at hillcityparanormal.com and call our haunted hotline at 701-HAUNTED. That's 701-428-6833. With your spooky tale, we're dying to hear it. Thank you for listening to Hill City Paranormal.